You may not think much about giving a donation of blood. That is, until you or a loved one is in desperate need of life-saving blood. Today, with the help of our panel guests, we hope to encourage you to become a donor. Andy and I are joined by today, Robert Kessler, who is the CEO of the American Red Cross Penn Jersey NEPA Blood Services Region, Jodi Farris, who is a blood recipient, Pete Boncheski, who is the organizer of the For the Love of Pete blood drive, and William Goldsworthy, who is a longtime platelet donor. Thank you all for joining us today. This is a very important topic. We're talking about giving blood. We know during the summer months sometimes blood supplies and platelet supplies are low, but this is a show for all seasons because you can always use blood donors. Let's start off with some of the basics. First of all, how many units of blood do we use in our area alone on a daily basis?
In the northeastern Pennsylvania area, we really need to collect about 160 units a day to meet patient needs. And then nationally for the Red Cross, we're looking at more like 15,000 units a day. So you can see that's a huge undertaking.
And just locally, how many donors would you need a day just to keep those supplies healthy?
In order to get the 160 units, we probably need about 180 people a day to commit to donate, because you are going to have some people who, because of health reasons or they can't get through the medical history, are not going to be able to donate.
And what do you see as far as people willing to give blood? I mean, everyone knows it's important, and most families at one time or another, just by life's course of events, will need blood at some point, or someone they know will need blood. How hard is it to motivate people? Is it tough to challenge people to go out and motivate to give blood?
It's always a tough job, I think. And really, I think when you're able to put the face of a patient with the need, then I think people have a tendency to respond a little bit better.
Is it a case of out of sight, out of mind? If it doesn't impact you directly, you'll be passing a hospital to see ambulances going by, but it's not directly with you. It's like somebody else's problem.
I think a lot of times that's the case, kind of out of sight, out of mind, and people need a little bit of a reminder. And again, as you mentioned, when you do have a family member or a friend who need blood, then I think it becomes much more evident that you need to give blood.
So who is eligible to donate blood?
Well, really anybody who's in good health, weighs at least 110 pounds, and is 17 years of age or 16 years old with parental permission.
And for someone saying, oh, I want to donate, that takes a lot of time, how much?
Really, the whole process takes about an hour. The actual draw of the blood takes about 8 to 10 minutes. You're going to spend about 5 minutes in registration, and then about another 10 to 15 minutes going through the medical history process. And finally, you're going to spend 15 or 20 minutes with us in the refreshment area to make sure that you get some refreshments and some fluids before you leave the blood drive. Have a chance to relax a little bit.
And it's really, we've done the blood drives for years and years at Eyewitness News, and we're proud to do that and support to get the word out. The volunteers are really tremendous. The staff, they really, if you have any concerns at all, and you should not, they really ease any concerns. I mean, they're patient and they're understanding, and they really handle it just perfectly.
I think when we're talking about donating blood, we're strangers giving to people that we don't know who they're going to go to. It's nice to put a face to someone. Jodi, you were a recipient of blood. Share your story with us a little bit.
I actually received 21 blood transfusions, and I believe 10 platelets, so I received a lot. I just went into labor to deliver my second son. Everything was normal, and then just like a light switch went off, things went bad, and I ended up in the operating room for an emergency C-section, and he ended up being stillborn because I had developed, it's called an amniotic fluid embolism, where it attacks the mother's lungs, and typically the child, survives, and then the mom has respiratory failure and imminent death. So in my case, it was a little bit different. My body kind of set off blood clots, and so which actually saved my life. So, but then I developed a blood clotting disease, so my blood wouldn't clot. clot. So to make, long story short, I developed all these rare things that you think would never happen to you or anyone you know, and I just went in to deliver my child, and I woke up, 3 days later in intensive care unit with such a rare thing that just, I think it hit home for everyone, because something so simple like going to deliver your child, and then, you never know when you're going to need it. And if I didn't have all the blood donations, then I wouldn't have made it.
Before you went in there, did you ever think about people donating?
Never. And to be honest, I'd see my younger sister always donates blood, and I'm like, they're always calling, and I said, I never did it. I never donated blood. And then, once it hit home, and I think that's how it is for a lot of people, until it does hit home, or they know someone that's affected by it, they don't take the 10, 15, 20 minutes out of their time just to show up and to donate. So that's why we hold blood drives every year around my son, Greyson's birthday, kind of in memory of him. And it helps for everyone to keep the memory alive. And the reason that I'm here is for the blood drive, or for the blood donation. So it's kind of our way to give back and thank people for donating. So, and people are tremendous about it. Everyone comes out and donates.
And when is your blood drive? When do you usually?
We try to hold it in March. That was the month that everything happened. So around the 23rd, we did it. Last March was our second time doing it. So,
and and Pete, you too as well. You have a blood drive, and you support. You're a longtime donor yourself.
Yeah, I started giving